Why is Putin so dead set on Ukraine? In today's video, we're going to talk about why Ukraine is so important not just to Russia, but to Europe and also the entire world. What's up, guys? This is JC and welcome to the Wealth Engineering channel. This is where I create content so that you can learn how to make, keep, and multiply money for the purpose of increasing your net worth, retire early, and build generational wealth. Now, one of the things that can really impact our portfolio, our wealth, and our net worth is definitely macroeconomic aspect that could change the market and definitely affect the market in a negative way so that our portfolio is also going down. And what is currently happening right now has serious impact. It's kind of like a huge tide wave moving the entire markets, whether it's crypto or stocks. It could even have its impact on your expenses as everything is rising, like oil and gas. They're really rising all over the world. You have living expenses, groceries, rent, everything is rising, right? So with that said, we need to understand the uncontrollable forces that can affect your wealth. I always talk about that on my channel. If you're new here and you're interested in all that, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and click the bell. And I also look forward to interact in your comment section. So make sure you give me your ideas on what you think about this video. So we're going to talk today about Ukraine. Why is Ukraine so important to Russia and also the entire world? Now, there is a deep history about Ukraine and Russia, but I actually wanted to go beyond that in this video and talk to you about what is in Ukraine so important to the world, right? Ukraine has a lot of resources that we can go over, and I made a list of them, and we're going to talk about that today, right? Ukraine is Europe's second largest country by surface and population, with more than 40 million people. If you ever visit any countries in Europe, you will see how very small they are and condensed they are, right? Also, Ukraine is the second place in Europe and 10th place in the world in terms of titanium mineral reserve. Having that as a resource in mines where you can export that can really increase the GDP of a country, right? First in Europe when it comes to uranium minerals. So you can mine uranium there. And one of the things that we discussed last video about that is Ukraine used to be one of the biggest country in the world with the largest nuclear weapon, and uranium is fundamental when you want to go there, when you want to create a nuclear power, nuclear weapon there. So having that mine in the first place puts them at a huge advantage in the world and what they can do with this uranium. Second place in the world in terms of explored reserve and manganese mineral, 2 to 3 billion tons, or 12% of the world reserve, is in Ukraine, right? So manganese, a very important mineral as well. Whenever you are well, right, you are first or second or third in the world for anything. And many people, whenever you are the reference for the world when it comes to providing something of value, then yes, you can control the market, you can dictate your price. So having access to all these are really important, right? Second largest iron reserve in the world with the 30 billion tons that they can produce in a year, right? Iron is being used for, if you want to do real estate, right? If you want to build anything, any property all around the world, you're going to need iron. If you're going to build ships, right? You're going to need iron. So many things, many applications for this metal right here. Second place in Europe in terms of mercury mineral reserve, right? So this is a valuable land. There's a lot of minerals in these lands, and access to all those lands alone can really improve a country's GDP because they would have control over a large aspect of it, right? Also, third place in Europe in schist gas reserve, which is basically 22 billion cubic meter. Fourth in the world by the total value of natural reserve. Again, more and more resources they have access to. Seventh in the world in coal reserves with about 33.9 billion tons they can produce in a year, right? Ukraine is an important agriculture country. Again, agriculture, something that they can export as well. First in Europe in terms of surface of Arabic land, which could be a strategic move if should a war happen, or should they need to control or stabilize this area right here. Third place in the world on surface of black earth, 25% of the world's volume. Rich in carbon, it could be very good for agriculture, helping things grow fast. First place in the world for export of sunflower oil. Second place in the world barley production, and fourth place in the exportation of barley. Right. Third world producer and fourth exporter of maize. Fourth largest potato producer in the world. Right. You know how potato are for French fries. You're going to need that in the world. Fifth largest rye producer in the world. Fifth place worldwide apricot production with 75,000 tons. Right. Eighth place in the world for wheat export. Ninth place in the world in producing chicken eggs. 16th place in the world when it comes to cheese export. Ukraine can meet the food needs of 600 million people. They only have 40 million people as a population, but because of all the resources in their land, they can produce food for 600 million people. And remember, in Europe, lands are very rare resources because most countries are super compact and small. That's something they can really control the market in Europe. Ukraine is an important industrialized country, first in Europe to produce ammonia, Europe's second gas pipeline network, and the fourth in the world, right, when it comes to natural gas pipeline, third in Europe and eighth in the world in terms of installed nuclear power plants. Okay, so their expertise in that alone is valuable, and they have the energy and to power the country, right? So again, that's something that Putin can leverage. And again, if they have all this nuclear power and uranium, and that's another use for uranium, by the way, so it's for the nuclear power plants. It can be used to generate energy in areas where you don't have natural resource like waterfalls that you can leverage to create electricity. Fourth largest rocket launcher manufacturer in the world. Why do you need rockets? You can use rockets for satellites. Having this ability to manufacture the parts for rockets around the world and export that to any countries that needs it, like China or maybe the US, for example, maybe NASA, right? So these are important. These are things that can shift the balance of power. Imagine Russia would get their hands of that, right? And Russia themselves is up there on that list too when it comes to rocket launcher and manufacturers, right? Fourth place worldwide clay export. Ninth place worldwide for defense industry export. And 10th place in steel producer in the world, about 32.4 million tons that they can generate. Ukraine is counting, and this is why their independence is important to the rest of the world. But also, should Russia be able to invade them, then it really shifts the power of balance. It gives Russia a strategic land aspect that they can control the sea. They can control more lands, and they also have more availability in terms of what they can export, lands for food, lands for minerals. This is why Ukraine matters to Russia, but also to the entire world, because hey, whatever they supply, they're the top at, the world needs it. With that said, guys, that's all I wanted to talk about today. Let's meet on the next video.
Hey, yeah. It's all about wealth engineering. Might be something that you're not used to. It's okay, cause I'm here to introduce you to concepts. Time to grow and make big moves. All about crypto, come see. Stocks and business, yes indeed. Got the info that you need. Hosted by my homie Jason.